What's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot, and in today's video, I'm going to give you my best bets for Thursday Night Football, where the New York Giants are traveling to Washington, D.C. to take on the Washington football team. But let's take a step back real quick and talk about a great week one for the Calling Our Shot community. 14-4 on the season, 4-0 on spreads, 5-1 on player props in week one. We were 2-0 in the preseason, 12-4 all of week one. And really our four losses, you look at it, we're 2-0 in same game parlays too. Look at our four losses. Two of them were long shot money line and touchdown parlays. Not much you can do there. The other two losses are coming from the Titans team total over. No, they didn't show up. They thought they had another preseason game. And then the other one was Tom Brady, no interception. What can you do about that? Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We just passed over 8,000 subscribers, so we really appreciate all the love you guys are showing. We're always going to have a Thursday Night Football video for its own game. We're going to talk about Monday Night Football in a separate video posted on Sunday. And then, of course, we got our normal week one or week two this week, best bets. That video will be going live on Thursday morning. And maybe by the time you're watching this one, it might already be live. So I'll link it down below in the comments as well as at the end of the video. Also, check out our weekly podcast. You guys have been loving it. And it's normally just me, Logan, and Sam just chatting, talking about football. And this week we talked about the biggest takeaways from week one. We gave our week two underdog money line picks, which if you listened last week, I gave you a free winner. My underdog pick was the Steelers plus 245 value. Obviously, if you watch week one's NFL best bets video, you knew I took Steelers plus 7, but they were also my underdog pick. And of course they pulled through. So go check out that. I have another underdog pick for this week. But currently, let's talk. That's not why you're here. We're here to talk about the Washington football team versus the New York Giants. Currently, Washington sitting at around 3.5 point favorites. Over-unders right around 40.5, 41, depending on the book that you got. I won't lie to you. This game is not necessarily the one that, it's going to be I'm not necessarily going to get that amped up, but it's football, and we're here to bet some football, and we're here to make some money, and I'll be watching every single snap of it on Thursday night. Now, today, I have my favorite player prop, and I have my over-under pick for this game. Now, I normally would have a same-game parlay, but like I said, I don't really want to force something here. Lines are kind of still wishy-washy with Saquon Barkley's injury and some of those kind of things. Evan Ingram just announced out. So I'm just going to stick, bankroll manage. That's what we preach on the channel. Obviously, do your research. Make sure you're confident in what you're placing, but I will have a player prop and my over-under pick. Let's start with the player prop, and I'm going to start with Logan Thomas. I'm going to take his over 48.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on DraftKings. This line has moved since it first came out. I believe it started around 43.5. And you can thank myself and at Prop Bet Guy on Twitter who put this out there, and I really love the play, and I was on it already waiting to record the video. Now, Logan Thomas, he had an okay week one, especially if you're in fantasy football. He saved his production with a touchdown, but he had 3 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Not too shabby if you had him in fantasy football like I do. Now, here's some good and bad news. What do you want first? Fine, I'll give you the bad news. For Washington, Fitzpatrick out for 8 weeks. At least that's what they expect. And Taylor Heinicke, who we're replacing him, who looked pretty good in their playoff game last season. Now, here's the good news. Taylor Heinicke, when he was in the game, he targeted Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas didn't have a reception with Ryan Fitzpatrick, but once Heinicke came in there, 3 receptions for 30 yards, and he did pretty well. And I think you look at Heinicke, he's going to be looking for that dynamic, reliable, playmaking tight end, and that's why I'm taking this over here. Now, last season, Heinicke started 2 games, including the playoff game against the Buccaneers, which is why a lot of people are really high on Taylor Heinicke. He started 2 games. Logan Thomas had over 60 receiving yards in both of them. I believe like 63 and 74, something along those lines. So obviously we're only asking for 48.5. I assume this line will go up to 49.5, maybe even 50.5. Don't mind taking it there. But look at it. He did really well. And now the real reason we're here, this matchup is pretty good. Now you might think the Giants, very good secondary, and that is true. They have James Bradberry and Adoree Jackson, both 2 solid cornerbacks. And you look at it last week against the Broncos, Bradberry clamped up Courtland Sutton. I have Courtland Sutton on a fantasy football team, benched him because I was like, I don't want to touch James Bradberry. He was a very good cornerback last year, and he clamped him up. He did not do too well, Courtland Sutton. Now, Jerry Jeudy on the other side against Adoree Jackson, he played pretty well. He had, 6 receptions, 60-something yards. Obviously, he did get injured, so you don't love to see that get well soon. But you look at it, they allowed a lot of receptions to the tight end. Noah Fant had a field day, 6 receptions, 62 yards. Also, the other Browns tight ends, 4 catches for 20 yards. Last season, the Giants allowed the 12th most receiving yards to the tight end position, and their main focus will be stopping Terry McLaurin, which Bradberry will be on, and stopping Antonio Gibson, the running back. I think Logan Thomas, who got paid this offseason, shout out to him, should be used quite a bit in the offensive scheme, and I got him at over 48.5 yards. Like I said, I believe he goes up to 50 to 60 receiving yards this game, and I'm in on him. I think he has a very good week 2 bounce back. Not a lot of yards in week 1. I think with Heinicke under center, he's going to really start to blossom. Don't think they're necessarily, you saw Logan Thomas running some deeper routes with Fitzpatrick. I don't think he'll be doing that. And I don't mind taking his over in receptions. It was 4.5 at plus money, now 4.5 minus 120-ish. I don't mind taking it. But I'm moving on. We're going to talk about the spread and the over-under. Now, I'm not going to pick a spread as an official play, although sneaky suspicion, I do think the Giants cover. We did give our sneak peek or our score prediction in the podcast at the very end. If you want to go check out the podcast, which is timestamped, the podcast is all timestamped in the description in case you want to scroll around and mess around with it. But instead of taking the Giants, who have won 5 straight games against Washington football team, instead I'm going to take the over, 40.5 points. Now, you look at it, it's minus 110 on DraftKings, and I would take 40.5. I wouldn't be surprised if this line goes down. Now, I understand people are going to be in the comments, my comments, saying, but these are 2 bad offenses and 2 good defenses. I get that. But look, Thursday night football is wonky. These games are always super weird. You can look at it last year. Week 4, Jets, Broncos, everyone was like, ew, ew, ew. Hammer the under. The under was, just like this game, around 40. It was like 40.5 points. I believe it closed at 40. And what was the final score? 37-28. They scored 65 points. They absolutely had a field day. It was 2 offenses that didn't have any power. They didn't. What do you want? These 2 offenses last year shouldn't have scored that many points, but this is Thursday night football, and those things can happen. Now, last season, there were 11 Thursday night football games. Now you're thinking 11. Well, there were 16 and 17 weeks. Well, 2 of them were postponed due to health and protocols, and then other ones were moved on Saturdays and things of that nature. But 11 games were played on Thursday. 9 of them hit this over, scored over 40.5 points. In my opinion, it's tougher for defenses to adjust on a short week. You think they just played on Sunday. Now they got to adjust for a whole new offensive scheme on Thursday night. I don't think that will be the surprise. I think if you look at it, it's tougher for defenses to prepare. Offenses kind of just roll through their plays, target different plays against different defenses. In my opinion, I'm locking in this over 40.5. It would not surprise me also see Taylor Heinicke and Daniel Jones, the turnover machine. I believe he has a turnover in 22 of his 27 career starts. They're going to turn over the ball and lead to some free points. These defenses are good, but I think they can give up some points, and they probably can force some turnovers for some easy points. So both teams capable of scoring points, and I think the over has cashed in 3 straight matchups at FedEx Field, which is where they are playing today. And I can see a ton of people hammering the under, so it would not surprise me if you look at this under and it might be 39.5 by the time you're looking at it. The Giants have gone under in 8 straight games, and I understand people are going to be like, I'm in. Now I'm making 9 straight. Like I said, I'm taking the over. It might be the unpopular pick, but I think it's the right pick, and that's why I'm locking it in over 40.5 points. Now, that'll do it. Just 2 picks in this game. Like I said, no need to force anything. Usually, I would have a same-game parlay in this video to dive into, but I don't really want to force anything. We're bankroll managed. This is not necessarily, I don't love all the players in this game to really concoct a very nice same-game parlay for you guys like we had last Thursday with Antonio Brown scoring a touchdown, 50-plus yards, and Dak Prescott 275 yards. Not going to do that, but let me know your favorite bet for tonight down below. My Week 2 NFL Best Bets video will be out Thursday morning, or it will be linked right here. You could check it out, and maybe show me some love in that video. We appreciate it. Click that subscribe button. Let's get to 9,000 subscribers, then 10,000. Keep growing and growing. I appreciate all the love and support you guys show. I will link it down below, all the other videos that we have been talking about. This has been Austin, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one. Good luck making some money tonight. If you place the same game parlay, at me on Twitter, send it to me. I want to see what it is. At Calling Our Shot. Make sure you're following us everywhere. We appreciate all the love and support you have been showing. A lot of videos are going to start rolling out over the next couple days and over the next couple weeks and months as we really start to crank up the NFL content, and basketball season is on the way. So get excited. It's a good time to be a Calling Our Shot subscriber. A lot of fun content coming your way. This has been Austin again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.